Hello, welcome to the Prime Podcast. This week we're going to talk about topics like Microsoft's Office 2013 Consumer Preview, and the 8GB Nexus 7 is now shipping, Asus Nexus 7 unboxing first impressions, when and where will we be able to find the Nexus 7, and how much will the Microsoft service cost. I'll also kind of briefly cover the Galaxy S3 on Verizon's network, which we have in review right now. So I'm William.
I'm Colin.
He's a guest today. We might have him again in the future. Let's go ahead and get started with Office 2013. As you might know, there's been Microsoft Office 2010. It launched a couple years ago, and it's kind of starting to get outdated now. It definitely works, and it works well, but it's just not very optimized for Windows 8, which is going to be optimized for tablets. So, in other words, it's not very touch-friendly. It just doesn't really blend in with the user interface of Windows 8, but it doesn't work on Windows 8. Overall, Office 2013 is very similar to Office 2010, but all the features found in, basically all the features in 2010 still exist. So Office 2013 seems to be just an improved version, mainly with an improved user interface, and a few features that make it a more modern piece of software. Most notably, there's built-in support for the cloud, which basically means that you can save your documents onto SkyDrive, which is Microsoft's cloud service, kind of like Dropbox or Google Drive, and it allows you to access documents on a Windows phone or computer or tablet or anything you have, which is very, very useful. Personally, my favorite Office 2013 feature is the ability to very easily use Office on my computer, even if it doesn't have Office installed, which basically means if you're subscribed to Office 365 Home Premium, you'll be able to stream a copy of Office to any Windows 7 or Windows 8 computer. So if you were at a friend's house and you need to finish your document, you can go ahead and just stream it over to that friend's computer, and it'll install in just a few minutes, which is pretty impressive. Which is a lot better than Office 2010, where you had to download like a 1GB file and install it. So we're going to kind of make a little reference. So Colin, you use Steam, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how you had to like download a game, it's like a whole gigabyte or more. It takes like an hour or so to install,
Yeah.
right? Don't you hate having to wait that long to just play a game?
Because when I got Dungeon Defenders, I didn't want to wait, like, it was like an hour or two.
Yeah,
I didn't want to wait that long.
Think of Office 2010 like a game, and think of that game like just installing, like you should click install and instantly be able to play it. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft Office 2013 is going to be like that. You can just click install, and it'll be instantly be able to use it. It might take a couple seconds to get everything ready, but basically you're not going to wait a long time for it to install or download or anything like that. Even though there are a lot of tweaks to Office 2013 to make it more touch-friendly, there's a little more new Metro styling to Office 2013, making it a little better for tablets, but it's still not quite ready to be launched on a tablet. There's still a lot of small icons that make it very hard to use on a touchscreen. And I've heard that Microsoft is actually going to make another version of Office 2013 designed specifically for tablets that will also be pre-installed on all Windows RT tablets, which will make a little bit more sense. This is kind of like good for someone who has like one of those hybrids where you have a trackpad and touchscreen at the same time. They'll use a touchscreen half of the time, they'll use a trackpad for other things. So in the end, Office 2013 isn't a lot better. It's not a whole lot better than Office 2010. However, there are certain features that might be really critical for some users, like being able to stream Office to any computer or have it easily, all your documents easily available in the cloud. Things like that might make Office 2013 a better option for many people. It's probably not going to arrive very soon. It's probably going to arrive later towards the end of this year and into next year. But if you want, you can go ahead and check out the Office 2013 Consumer Preview and test it out before it arrives. We have a link to our article on this topic, and there's a link in that article to the Office 2013 Consumer, or it's actually Customer Preview. I'm calling it the Consumer Preview, but they're basically the same thing. Now on to our first sponsor, which is Media Temple, and I talked about last week that they had the $5 or $4 domain names for the 4th of July, and that's a pretty good deal. $4 for just the initial registration, and then if you want to go make that domain a little bit longer, you want to add another year of that. Each year after that's $12. So either way, you're getting a pretty good deal on a domain name. But that $4 deal was specifically for the 4th of July, and Media Temples actually went ahead and expanded that deal, so it'll be available all summer long. So through probably August or September, you'll probably be able to use this deal where you go to Media Temple. We have a link in the description below. Click on that link and it'll send over to Media Temple, where you can get it .com, .net, .org, .info, .biz, .media, .name, .co. All of them, any new registration for just $4, which is a pretty good deal. And that's our first sponsor. Now onto a tablet that you and I have actually used now, and that's the Nexus 7, which Google unveiled nearly a month ago at Google I/O 2012, and they announced that the Asus-built Nexus 7 tablet would be immediately put up for pre-order on the Google Play Store, and that it would ship in mid-July. We're now kind of in the mid-July time frame, and if you pre-order the Nexus 7, you might have already received it in the mail. Some retailers have also begun selling it in stores, so you might also have a chance being able to go to like a Best Buy or another retail store, local one, pick it up. So chances are if you pre-order the Nexus 7, you are probably already gotten it or will get it fairly soon. However, if you order your Nexus 7 with a case or another accessory, it might end up shipping a little bit later, although Google has said that they might end up shipping the tablets and the accessories separately if they have to make the release date kind of more balanced for all users. If you haven't purchased the Nexus 7 and you want to pick one up right now, and you want it right now, like within the next couple of days, your best bet is to go purchase the 8GB Nexus 7 from the Play Store, since Google says it's available and it's in stock, meaning it'll arrive at your house within a few days when you purchase it. Meanwhile, the Nexus 7 16GB model, although it does have more storage, you have to wait at least a couple of weeks before it will actually even ship. So really, you can get the 8GB Nexus 7 now, or you're going to have to wait a while to get the 16GB model. And the reasoning behind that is that the 8GB model is only available in the Play Store, while the 16GB model is available pretty much everywhere. So if you, so that basically means there's a lot more demand for the 16GB model, so it's not really available as much. Personally, I received the Nexus 7 a couple of days ago, I think, and it cost. So far, it's been a really impressive tablet. $200, the Nexus 7 costs a fourth of what the Motorola Zoom cost back when it launched as the first Android tablet. And the Nexus 7 is unimaginably faster with it's also more high quality, thanks to Tegra 3 and 4.1 Jelly Bean. And if you're looking for an Android tablet, I'd strongly suggest looking at the Nexus 7. So I'm going to stop for a second and ask you a little bit about the Nexus 7, what you think about it. So you've used an iPad probably more than the Nexus 7, have you?
Yeah.
So far, what do you think? Do you like the Nexus 7? I'm talking specifically about the size. Do you like the smaller screen on the Nexus 7 or the larger screen on the iPad?
I like the smaller screen.
Yeah, why do you like it?
Because it makes it so, well, I like it because it's, like, smaller.
Yeah.
Like, the smaller screen doesn't mean the actual Nexus. I mean, like, well, it makes it so the actual thing isn't, too big.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't really like stuff that's really, really big to hold in your hands.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think I like the Nexus 7 too much more than the iPad, because you can hold it with one hand and use it comfortably, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it also fits in your pocket if you have big enough pockets, which is very nice. You can carry it around with you to school, to work, to on the bus, wherever you are, and you just use it. And it's just, I like the form factor. 7 inches, I like it better than 10-inch one, but rumors are that Google's going to make a larger 10-inch Nexus 7 in the near future. So if you want a bigger one to kind of wait, Google's probably going to launch one. It might cost a little bit more, but it'll still be very cheap. But I like the 7-inch size. How do you like the build quality of the Nexus 7? Like how strong it is, how it feels in the hands, that kind of stuff.
It feels really good in the hands for me. And then, it's really, I don't know how to put it exactly, but, it is like, it fits your hand really, really well. The, screen touch things actually is really good. The, what is it? The gaming on it is good.
Yeah. Performance. Yeah, it's really fast.
It's really strong for a tablet.
Yeah. Speaking of strength, there was actually a video posted on the internet today where some guy tested this Nexus 7 against the iPad. And he basically dropped it in several places, several positions, and then put it underwater for a few seconds in a bathtub. And the iPad actually stopped working, got a lot more dents and scratches, and glass actually broke. The Nexus 7, it didn't really get a whole lot of dents. It kind of got some smudging on the back. but the screen wasn't cracked, and after you put it underwater, the iPad still worked, but the audio, the sound stopped working. But on the Nexus 7, the sound still worked, so I guess that shows you that the Nexus 7 is built very strong. And the rubber backing I really like, I'll talk about that a little bit more, but it just feels good in the hand, it's very strong, it's very solid. Although there are some reports that some people, the screen is starting to lift off a little bit because of bad glue, and there's some dead pixels, but I think that's just normal manufacturing errors, and Google will replace those with the warranty. But moving on, I've actually been using the Nexus 7, and I posted around 1,000-word unboxing and first impressions of the Nexus 7 device after using it for a little while. The unboxing video is pretty short, and you can check it out and clicking the link in the description below. But I haven't had the Nexus 7 for long, and it's been a good tablet so far. When I first started by going over the performance, and for $200 you'd probably expect this Nexus 7 to have a really slow last generation processor, a low resolution display, and overall low-end outdated hardware. So like look at the Kindle Fire, it's kind of starting to get outdated. It's just not the best hardware, and it wasn't the best hardware at launch. That's not the case with this Nexus 7. Google has managed with the latest hardware into the Nexus 7, making it a very fast and very affordable Android tablet. Scoring 3,500 in Quadrant, the Nexus 7's 1.3 GHz quad-core Tegra 3 processor is on par with many of the high-end Android tablets, like the Transformer Pad from Asus. And also, I guess the iPad, it plays all the same games as the iPad, as you've seen. You can play games load quickly, they don't really lag a whole lot, they play well, they're smooth. The graphics look pretty good, as you've seen. They're kind of starting to kind of get ahead of the last generation consoles, if you will, because it's just impressive. But the processor isn't the only thing making the Nexus 7 very, very fast. Google's latest version of Android is called Jelly Bean, and it includes things like Project Butter, which has made the Nexus 7 a smoother device, removing a lot of the previous Android lag with animations and transitions. So things like opening an application, rearranging home screen, or opening a recent application no longer involves a lot of stuttering or lag with Jelly Bean. So generally speaking, I have no complaints as far as the performance of the Nexus 7 goes. Things like the Wi-Fi radio could be a little bit stronger. The display could be a little more vibrant. But for $200, there's not a whole lot to complain about with this Nexus 7. That performs better than many of the more expensive Android tablets. So I have a question a little bit about the software of the Nexus 7. Like Android, as you can see, you can probably see my home screen on it. I have the big clock widget, applications at the bottom, and on either one I have like my Mail, Google Reader, and Google Plus and Google Voice. So how do you like Android as far as like the user interfaces compared to like the iPhone or the iPad?
I'm not really sure about that, so...
Like, do you like the idea of having the widgets, like a big clock widget, or one that shows your email, or something like this, the latest Steam deals, that kind of stuff? Do you like having that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one of my favorite features with Android is having widgets, so I can basically just easily see information on the home screen. Now moving on to hardware, and Google really didn't take a whole lot of shortcuts when putting the processor into the Nexus 7. And they also didn't take any shortcuts when designing the Nexus 7, because honestly the Nexus 7 is the best designed tablets I've ever used, mainly because of the back, which I talked about a little while ago. So instead of using metal or plastic like many other tablets, you know, like I've used some other Galaxy tabs where there's plastic, and they scratch or gets noticeably dirty. Or the iPad is built very well, but the back is made of metal, and I feel like I'm breaking something every time I set it down on a table and hear like a big clack. And the iPad also gets kind of dirty on the back, and it gets a little smudgy and that kind of stuff. But the Nexus 7 is made out of rubber, meaning you can get a nice solid grip on it, and you won't drop it because of that, and it also won't get scratched or damaged very easily. So I really like how it's designed. It also means there aren't a whole lot of fingerprints on the back, making it a very great back cover of this device. When it comes to the front of the Nexus 7, Google has put a simple, grilly-less 1280x800 IPS display on the front, which gets the job done. You'll find a power button and volume rocker on the side. On the bottom, you'll find a USB port and the headphone port. I personally prefer the headphone port on the front, or on the top, but it's not really a big deal. So in the end, the Nexus 7 at $200 is a really great deal for those looking for a tablet. I'll be continuing to test it out over the next few weeks, and I'll post a full review of the Nexus 7 in the future. So now moving on to when and where will the Nexus 7 arrive. I said that it's already started shipping to some people. But I posted an article the previous week, so I'm going to go over this pretty quickly. It does give a little more details on the arrival in Nexus 7, because first off, if you want to pick up the Nexus 7, you can pick it up from places like Google, the Play Store, Staples, NCAX, Adorama, and eBuyer. They're already all listed. eBay also has some listings. I wouldn't expect Amazon to sell these things. It competes with the Kindle Fire. But most of those retailers, other than the Google Play Store, only have the 16 GB model available for $250, meaning the Google Play Store is the only place you can get the 8 GB model for $200. Not really a big deal, but if you want a little cheaper device, go to the Play Store. Although the Play Store also is really high. I think the shipping is like $13 for the Nexus 7 on the Google Play Store, which is pretty expensive. But generally speaking, the Nexus 7 is arriving, and most retail stores have already started to sell it. Now on to the Kindle Fire. So the Nexus 7 isn't the first ever 7-inch tablets arrived. One of the first successful ones is called the Kindle Fire, which is $199, and it's basically Amazon's tablet. You know, the Kindle Fire. It's like the Kindle but a tablet. It's a color touchscreen, 7 inches, faster processor, so you can run games. But it runs Android just like the Nexus 7, but the big thing with the Kindle Fire is that it's not stock Android. So instead of having like the normal Android home screen, it has a custom Amazon one, where it's all tied into an ecosystem. There's Amazon Books, Amazon Apps, Amazon Movies, Amazon Prime, all that kind of stuff. It's not Google. It's not Google Play. There's not Google Movies. There's not Android Market. There's not Google Books. There's none of that stuff. It's all Amazon. You can't even get Android Market on this thing without hacking it. So really, the benefit of getting this thing is you're really into Amazon. You want everything to do with Amazon. But it's just yeah. If you want this device, you can go ahead and pick it up on Amazon. Same price as the Nexus 7. Personally, I'd wait and see what happens with the Kindle Fire 2, because rumors are that the Kindle Fire 2 is coming in a couple months, and the Kindle Fire will be then dropped to just $150, which is a pretty good deal, or even less. Maybe $100 Kindle Fire. That would really be a great deal for a last generation tablet. It's not as good as the Nexus 7, but it's really a whole lot cheaper. That's our second sponsor, the Kindle Fire, because Amazon's selling it. Check that out. We have a link in the description below to check that out. The next article is on Microsoft and the Microsoft Surface. So I'm going to talk about what it's going to cost, basically. Because Microsoft talked about the tablet that was coming this year, but they didn't talk about how much it's going to cost. Now, it could cost something that really expensive, like Motorola Zoom. It cost like $700, $800 when it launched. A lot of people didn't buy it because it was so expensive. And for Microsoft to make the Surface successful, they had to make it somewhat cheap and very comparable to other tablets. We're going to first take a look at the competition. But before we do that, I want to take a look at the versions. There's going to be two versions, the Surface RT and the Surface Pro. RT comes in 32 and 64 GB versions. It's started by an ARM processor, while the Pro comes in 64 GB and 128 GB versions. It's started by an Intel processor. So let's take a look at the competition that the Surface has. Microsoft Surface is a tablet. Well, that's basically what it is, and that means they'll have to compete with other tablets like the iPad, as well as the Galaxy Tab 10.1 and the Nexus 7. Tablets share something in common, a low price point. Most tablets are, $500. Some might even be $200 or $300 or $400, depending on where you look, what tablet you want. So if Microsoft wants to compete with the tablets, they have to make the price somewhat cheap, because, Colin, would you buy a tablet that's basically the same thing as an iPad, but at twice the cost? Would you do that?
No.
Yeah, because most people probably won't do that. But the tricky thing here is that this Surface is also a notebook computer, or ultrabook. Notebooks, netbooks have merged into a new category called ultrabook. Intel launched some of the first ultrabooks a couple of years ago. And they're basically thin and light Intel-powered Windows computers that are essentially premium netbooks designed to compete with the MacBook Air. The Microsoft Surface is, in many ways, an ultrabook, since the Intel-powered version is very thin, very light, and runs Windows. Most ultrabooks like the Dell XPS 13, HP Envy 14, Spectra, and Samsung Series 5 are pretty expensive, anywhere from $1,000 all the way up to $2,000. So basically, if Microsoft wanted to compete with these Ultrabooks, they could go ahead and sell it for $1,000 and nobody would complain. So let's talk about how much it's going to cost. Basically, the only way to do this is to split the Surface RT and Surface Pro into two different products. So they're basically completely different products. That's what we're going to look at it as. So the Surface RT is more of just a plain old tablet with a keyboard. That's all. That's basically this whole thing is. Just a keyboard and tablet put together. So in order to compete with iPad and other tablets, you have to cost a maximum of $500. Could cost maybe a little bit more, but I don't think that would be really good for Microsoft. But we might actually see this thing as low as $400 if Microsoft really wants to push this thing out there and get a lot of competition and make it really successful. Because I think a lot of people would buy the Surface RT for $400 if it was a good enough device, if it had enough apps and that kind of stuff. The Surface Pro, on the other hand, is more of not really competing with tablets, but it's competing with these Ultrabooks or computers. So I think it's costs from $1,000 to $1,100 for the 64 gigabyte and 128 gigabyte models, respectively. And that will basically sell at the same price as Ultrabooks would make manufacturers of Ultrabooks want to put touchscreens on the Ultrabooks and make them better compete. So that's about it for this podcast. It's actually been shorter than usual, but I have some news I'm going to talk about right now. I'm actually going to talk about this more in depth next week. But it is that Galaxy S3, the Verizon model that I actually got to review from Samsung. I posted a review and first impressions and unboxing video on the website, and so far I found it to be a great phone. It performs very well. It looks really well, and I actually like the feel of a phone, mainly because as you know, the iPhone, it's very industrial design. It's very square, very round around the edges, that kind of stuff. But the Galaxy S3 is very different. It's more of an ergonomic design it's designed for humans, that's what Samsung's saying. It's very smooth, rounded, curved, and it just feels amazing in the hand. It's very thin, very light, and so far I've liked the Galaxy S3, and I'll be reviewing it over the next few weeks. I'll talk about my first impressions with the device in the next podcast, which will be publishing next week. On this YouTube channel, you can find we do a podcast every week where we talk about this kind of stuff, technology, consumer electronics. We publish it every Saturday. But I have called you today because we've been doing a series very frequently every week on this same YouTube channel on Sundays where we do a Minecraft video. And basically on that Minecraft video we talk about, or we basically build things in Minecraft. And we're in the middle of a series right now where we are building a house in every single biome. So do you want to talk about that a little bit of that, or series of Minecraft, Colin?
Yeah, so, the first biome that we did was the forest, I think.
Yeah, that's what we did, yeah.
Everything that we're gonna build a house in each biome, and we're making it match the biome, so, like, the items are in the biome. So for, like, the, Mushroom Island biome, or Asylum biome, or whatever you call it, in that biome, we had, like, it's a shroom biome with the asylum grass and stuff. So, with that one, we had to make it fit the actual biome, so we used, like, mushrooms and stuff. And we built the houses that I think I remember the ones we built in, but I'm not sure about all of them, but we built a house in the, plains biome, desert, forest, swamp, and the Mushroom Island, I think.
Yeah, I think it's all of them. And next week I think we're going to do the rainforest biome, or forest, or whatever that is.
The rainforest.
Yeah. So, and of course we're not really doing this in the same order because we haven't even published the first episode of the series that's coming out this Sunday, tomorrow. So just kind of stay tuned for that. I'll start out with the forest biome, we'll go into more biomes and more biomes and more biomes. And if you like gaming, we might actually start talking a little bit more about gaming in this podcast. Like last week, I think we talked about the Xbox 8, which is going to be a good console, and we'll probably talk about more gaming news. If you like gaming, just please comment if you like gaming, want to see more gaming in this podcast, because this whole podcast was all about tablets, just completely tablet news, which is, I guess, relevant as tablets are very popular nowadays. And just stay tuned. We'll be doing more podcasts, more gameplay videos, and that's about it.